As you can see, Callum Smith will take on Erik Skoglund of Sweden in the quarterfinal of the World Boxing Super Series Super Middleweight version. I'm sure most of you subscribe to me will know all about Callum Smith, but for those of you who don't, a quick rundown on Callum Smith. He's 27 years old. He's from Liverpool in the United Kingdom. He comes from a fighting family. He's had 22 fights, 22 wins, 17 wins by knockout. I would describe him as a boxer puncher, but more of a puncher. He's a very tall guy. I believe he's like 6'4", so very tall for a super middleweight. But he prefers to come forward above using the height and reach. You know, he's a guy that actually gives up his height and reach a lot of the time and likes to exchange in the trenches, kind of like an Antonio Margarito, just a higher weight division, similar to that. Although I do think he boxes a bit more than Margarito, and he's not as reckless and not as easy to hit so far anyway as a Margarito. So yeah, that's the kind of fighter he is. He hasn't put a foot wrong so far. He's been inactive though over the past year or so. Hasn't had a lot of activity because of the fact that he's been waiting on his chance to get a shot at a WBC super middleweight title. He's now given up that shot to enter this tournament. He was tired of waiting, tired of being messed around by various different fighters. He said, you know what, let me just go into this tournament. I'm confident of winning it. And I should get a lot of exposure and earn some good purses. So that's Callum Smith. And his opponent, Erik Skoglund, is 26 years old. He is from Sweden. He's had 26 fights, 126, 12 knockouts. So he's unbeaten. I have to admit, I haven't seen much of Erik Skoglund before. Sweden is definitely not a country which is synonymous with top-level boxers. Professional boxing was actually banned in Sweden up until a few years ago. Some people might not realize that, but it was actually banned in Sweden just up until a few years ago. So perhaps there was always talent there, but they just didn't have an outlet because it was banned. There you go. Skoglund, young guy, undefeated, plenty of ambition. Those of you who have seen more of him than I have, please give me the rundown in the comment section below. Obviously, I'm going to do more research on some of the fighters I'm unfamiliar with in the build-up to these fights taking place. But for now, those are the statistics of Erik Skoglund. Now, you got two undefeated fighters facing off against each other here. Callum Smith is far more highly touted than Erik Skoglund. Is that justified? Again, for those of you who have watched Skoglund, is it justified for Smith to be more highly touted? Has he fought better opposition than Skoglund? Is he more talented than Skoglund? Is he a better puncher than Skoglund? You let me know what you think. Callum Smith, again, being freakishly tall is, and not just freakishly tall, but freakishly big. 6'4". He is kind of a lanky guy, but he's not the skinniest guy you've ever seen. You know, he does have some musculature about him. Powerful puncher. You would think he would be a handful for anyone. I would think that the kind of people that would give Callum Smith the most trouble are slick boxers. Guys who can actually exploit the fact that Callum Smith doesn't use his height and reach to his full advantage. I mean, he did kind of use his height and reach a little bit in the fight against that Frenchman whose name escapes me right now. I think it begins with an R. The guy who George Groves fought in his comeback. Can't remember the guy's name. He's a tough guy. Callum Smith did kind of use his height and reach against that guy, but generally speaking, he don't. As I say, I think someone who can stick and move and get a bit slick and use foot speed on Callum Smith would have success against him. Is Erik Skoglund that kind of guy? Is Erik Skoglund somebody who can give Callum Smith movement? You know, that can actually, from a strategic point of view, exploit Callum Smith's weaknesses or potential weaknesses while imposing his own strengths on him. You know, Erik Skoglund is quite tall himself, I believe. I think he stands around 6'1", somewhere around there, but still not as tall as Callum Smith. So, yeah, I'm really relying on you guys in this video to tell me more about Erik Skoglund because I haven't yet got the chance to watch a lot of his fights. So, let me know what you think of this draw. Callum Smith against Erik Skoglund. I'm not sure who picked who here. Whether it was Callum Smith picking Skoglund or Skoglund picking Smith, not sure. I'd be interested to find out which way it was. So if any of you guys know, then please fill me in the comment section below. Who's going to win this fight? How's this fight going to go? Who's going to be the favourite? With the fans, I'm pretty sure Smith will be the favourite with the bookies to win this fight, but who's going to be the favourite in terms of the boxing fans? Who are you guys picking to win this fight? Drop it all in the comment section below. It's happening, I'm out.